Wow, we are live.
Oh, we're live.
We are live, and we haven't done this in a while.
I know.
We're slacking on Viewer's Choice Month. We're going to have to catch up.
Did everyone miss me?
I missed you. I mean, I think everyone missed you. Did everyone miss you? I don't know.
I don't know.
Did they miss?
Are they relieved? They're like, ugh.
Did they miss the ace? The arbiter of cinematic excellence?
I have to tell you, this term has been insane.
Yeah, you've been crushed at school.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to talk about Maximus Decimus
We
Meridius.
are. Yes,
Father
we are.
to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and he will have his vengeance in this life or the next.
Yes.
I'm very excited about this. Our second Viewer's Choice movie after Miller's Crossing,
Yeah.
2000's Gladiator. This is the extended version that we are watching, by the way. The longer version. It's almost like a half an hour longer, which is exciting. Because boy, do I love this film.
No.
Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, and your sommelier of cinema, Robert Meyer Burnett. But you already knew that. You're not here for me. Who are you?
I am Elysabeth Gwendolyn Belle, the ace, the arbiter of cinematic excellence, and the enchantress of entertainment.
And for the upcoming Valentine's Day, we've decided to wear our same pieces of merch. How exciting is that? Merch. Wearing merch. I look a little bit more girly than you in my powder blue.
Well, you were supposed to order me the charcoal gray one.
Oh, okay,
but
I
you
know.
ordered me the navy blue one.
I didn't mean to order you the navy blue one. I thought I was ordering you the charcoal gray one.
And you got Sophie the dark pink one, and she wanted the light pink one.
Oh my God, $50 hoodies. I'm sorry. You know, you'll take what you get and you're going to like it.
You get what you
I got to
get,
start
and you
acting more
don't
like
get
a
upset.
father, the patriarch of this mug.
Well, this is what I used to say to my kids. You get what you get, and you don't get upset.
Yeah, but you just bitched on the show that you got a navy blue one.
I
and
like
not
navy blue.
Okay, well, there you go. Thank you. Good save. Anyway, so we are here talking about the Best Picture winner of 2000, Ridley Scott's Gladiator. That was, of course, it was pitched to Ridley Scott based on a painting. He decided to make this movie based on a painting called Thumbs Down. Actually, it was probably in Latin, but the translation is Thumbs Down. And I've seen a picture of the painting. It's in the, I think the documentary is in the making of. It's a pretty neat painting. You'd like to see it.
Oh, why didn't you show me the painting?
Shit, I don't know. I just remember that off the top of my head just now. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, man.
I know you're in art school. You'd probably been like, oh, I would like to have seen that painting. I know you
Yeah.
would have. I just forgot to tell you it was based on that painting. So before we get started on this review, would you like to open up? We have to mention today that our sommelier of the channel, Julius Goodwin, hooked us up with more Knocking Point wine. And Knocking Point, I guess, is, what's his face's name? We used to date Demi Moore. Now he's married to Mila Kunis. You know, the good-looking guy from the 70s show.
Yeah.
It's their winery. Anyway, the celebrities get to make their own wine, and this is another. Oh, would you? This is an actual Pinot Noir. Go figure, Pinot Noir. This is Gangster Goddess wine from Knocking Point, and it's Drea Di Matteo's wine from The Sopranos. Gangster Goddess. What a label that is. Would you like to try some Gangster Goddess Pinot?
I would. And I have to say, I pre-gamed a little bit.
Oh, I can tell.
I needed it.
You needed a pregame. Did you do with
I
whiskey?
just
or?
finished a class. I just got out of a class.
Okay, well, there you go. Pre-gaming is good. Post-gaming is better. But okay. So we're going to talk about this film. So obviously, this was a well-worn, tried-and-true Hollywood genre, the sword and sandals epic. This film was inspired by things like The Fall of the Roman Empire and Spartacus, Kubrick's Spartacus that he directed with Kirk Douglas. But there hadn't been a movie like this in quite some time.
Yeah,
and of course, in the
it's
wake
true.
of this movie was incredibly successful.
What month did this come out?
May. Came out in May of 2000.
Okay, and Zoe was born in October.
So she was gurgling inside your tummy at this point.
In May, yeah.
Yeah, in May.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You were having a child while this movie came out. I don't know what those two things have to do with one another, but it's an interesting fact. So here we are talking
I was
about
just trying to place myself.
21 years later. This is the 21st anniversary of Gladiator. It can drink just like we can. So let's have some wine. That smells good. Let's see what Drea Di Matteo cooks up with her Pinot Noir.
Oh,
That's interesting.
it's a little oaky.
And fruity.
That's interesting.
It is interesting.
It's more like a cab than a.
Yeah, I like it. I bet when it opens up, it's going to be really interesting too. It's pretty good. I really like that. It's unique. I enjoy it. Well, anyway, so this film None of this movie is real, by the way. Not, when I say none of the movie's real, none of it's based on. I mean, yes, Marcus Aurelius is a real guy, or is it Aurelius or Aurelius? I always said Aurelius, but it's said in the movie Aurelius and Aurelius.
I always knew it as Aurelius.
Yeah, Aurelius. You knew Marcus Aurelius.
I did.
I didn't say I knew him.
He touched me.
I said he touched me. Yes. Sometimes that goes worse than it makes it sound. But anyway, so this film. My love for this film is boundless. I love Russell Crowe in this movie as Marcus Decimus Meridius because he has 3 names like Robert Meyer Burnett, so I like that. But the first of all, this movie opens in Germania, where for 12 years Marcus Aurelius has been campaigning to bring peace to. In the movie, this isn't true in real life, but Marcus Aurelius wants to turn Rome into a republic. Democracy of the Senate, the people will run Rome, and he's in failing health, played by the great Richard Harris, and of course we meet Marcus Decimus Meridius and his I don't know what you call him, his second in command, Quintus.
Yes.
Quintus, and they are going to the last holdout against the power of Rome is the Germanic hordes. And the Felix legions have gone to...
Hordes? They were just protecting their land.
No, they were Germanic barbarian hordes.
The Romans were taking over everything.
As rightfully so, they brought civilization. Do you see those people? Would you want to be part of the Germanic hordes?
Those are your and my people.
I understand, but you know what? They deserve to be Romanized. They look like they might as well have been like, Korg 20,000 BC, if you remember that show from the 70s. That was a Saturday morning show.
We don't really know what they were like.
Anyway, the point was none of this is real. It's all an amalgamation of things. The costumes of the Roman legion are like 100 years too early. So it's a stylized interpretation of history,
which is fine. I love that things can be stylized.
I do too. So, but it opens. There's an epic battle scene in the beginning when we see. Under the leadership of Marcus Decimus Meridius, he has a fierce battle with the Germanic hordes, or let's just say the people who live in Germania protecting their land. Is that better?
Yes.
And so, how does that go for them? First of all, you see the relationship between Quintus and Maximus, and there's this great exchange when Quintus says, "People should know when they're conquered." And then Maximus says, "Would you, Quintus? Would I?" It's so good.
But it's true, and I'm glad that...
You think people should know when they're conquered? Like they should just give up and roll over?
They didn't... No, what I'm saying is they didn't make them look like they're just going to give up. They fought till the end.
They did fight till the end, and what did it get them?
Death.
Dead in a horrible mud-soaked woodland nowhere land. They could have suckled on the teat of Rome. Spore.
But they didn't.
They didn't. So there's this massive battle, and how did you feel about that battle?
I don't pay attention to the battles.
It's such a great battle. I
like the story. I don't love the battles. The battles, I kind of check out during the battles.
But this is such a beautifully staged, practical. There's some CG, obviously, but there's great stuff going on. There's fire. There's exploding bombs being catapulted in. People are getting limbs hacked off. I mean, I find this a turn on, don't you?
No.
You tuned out like Ridley Scott's giving you this amazing...
I tune out during the battles.
Well, okay, do you remember who won? Just checking.
Rome, of course.
Okay, Rome won. Maximus, and he says his men were lean and hungry before the battle began. Mm-hmm. And then this battle is not romanticized. Many men are cleaved and wounded. It's brutal. The brutality of these kinds of battles is...
Many men are dead and wounded and on both sides.
Yes. And, of course, Richard Harris as Marcus Aurelius. After the battle is won, he has Maximus come meet him in his chambers. And what I love, I don't know if this is true, but it's like they brought everything.
Yes,
Marcus,
that is true.
They would bring all that stuff out.
If there was royalty and they had to be out, they would pitch these elaborate tents and they would fill them with all kinds of fancy things.
It just seems a little impractical.
But they did it. I don't know if they would bring like actual statues and stuff, because there were a lot of statues in his tent. A lot. But they would bring lots of rugs and lots of opulent things.
Would you like to live that way? Like wherever you traveled, like people would just bring...
Yeah, it's glamping.
Glamping?
Glamping.
Glamorous camping?
Yes.
I wouldn't want a glamorous camp.
It's glamping.
That's not real camping.
It's a nice way to camp.
Okay, so Marcus Aurelius was a glamper par excellence.
He was the ultimate
glamper, man. I mean, let's talk about that, and so anyway, basically they talk about the future. Mm-hmm. And Richard Harris knows, Marcus knows he's going to die.
Yeah.
And he basically says, my son, very Godfather X, my Sonny is a bad Don.
Well, but before you get to that scene, you see that his son and his daughter are on their way to meet him where he is, because he's dying. And they even say, well, he's been dying for the past 10 years, so they don't know how serious he is about this. And
his kids are played by the just delish Connie Nielsen.
Beautiful. She's
delish. She did Full Frontal in Devil's Advocate, and she's a redhead. Just pointing that out. And then, of course, we have Joaquin Phoenix as Commodus.
Red like this.
Yeah, just red like that. Hey, come on, that doesn't happen till midnight. Don't jump the gun. Don't jump the gun. As John Campea would say, we're 4 hours and 18 minutes away from the next episode of WandaVision. We don't talk about that till tomorrow. Come on now. This is about Gladiator. There's no magic in Gladiator.
Sorry, you said redhead. She's there on the desk.
There's no sorcery. So
you
anyway,
can't miss her. Like, she's like right there.
It's true. And she has a shocking mane of red hair.
She has a lot of red hair.
So anyway, Connie Nielsen and they're talking and they seem to be, right off the bat, Commodus, he's got an incestuous fixation on his sister.
Yeah, because at first you don't even know they're brother and sister, and you're like, oh, is this a couple? What's going on? But no.
And it's so great because when they finally get to the camp, and they finally the Lucilla, it's Lucilla and Commodus. They finally get there, and when they get out, it's so great. The way Joaquin Phoenix plays is when he gets out, he's like, "Where's the battle? Is it done? Do we miss it?" Like he's all ready to jump in, even though he's shown up like days after the fact, and or they're at the front side. His
dad's like, "You just missed it."
Yeah, they're at and right away that this guy is such a chump.
Yeah.
He is such a chump. And of course, as they've been going there, he asks Lucilla, do you think father is going to announce me as the new Caesar?
Well, first of all, he knows that his father doesn't like him and that he's supposed to be the heir to the throne, but he is doubting it. And so he's a total kiss ass. He's trying to impress his father and act nice to everyone when he doesn't give a shit about these people. And that comes off from the beginning.
So basically, he's a 2,000-year-old millennial.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. Maybe
Sorry,
Gen Z. Maybe Gen Z.
Yeah, Gen Z.
He's like Gen Z.
That's true.
If this guy had an Instagram account, he'd be all over.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He would be Insta famous, but he would never have as many followers as his friends.
Exactly.
So he'd be constantly upset.
Yeah.
So, okay, he's a douche.
He's a douche.
He's a douche from the beginning.
But at first you feel sorry for him because...
Do you?
All he wants is his father's love. And his father, he never could live up to what his father wanted. And that's what turns him into a douche. But
all right.
He's a douche, but it's kind of sad.
Well, so anyway, Marcus Aurelius says to Maximus is like, look, I just want to go home to be with my wife and my son, and I want to go back to farming, and I just want to go home. Mm-hmm. When you release me, I'm out of here. I'm going back to Spain. He's from Spain. Mm-hmm. I'm out of here. And then Marcus Aurelius is like, well, no, I'm going to call on you to do one more thing. I want you to be the new Caesar. Because he's got the armies, the Praetorian Guard, everyone loves him. So and Marcus knows that
If he's Spanish, why doesn't he have a Spanish name?
because he's a Roman too. What would you better? Would it be Juan Maximus Decimus Meridius?
It's just so Roman, his name.
Pietro.
I mean, how long was Spain under Rome's rule? Was he born under Rome's rule?
Yeah, he would have been born under Rome's rule.
Okay.
Plus, I mean, you know, if it was like vote for Pedro, not that Pedro's a bad name, but it wouldn't have been as cool as Maximus Decimus Meridius. I mean, that just sounds cool to say.
It is cool to say. I'm just questioning, like, he's known as the Spaniard.
Well, yeah, because he's known as a Spaniard.
His name isn't very Spanish.
No, but he looks Spanish. He's kind of, you know, dark olive complexion, like the Olive Gardens he has at his house.
Yeah, he's Australian.
Okay, you know, let's not be prejudicial against, like, an Australian can play a Roman who's playing a Spanish guy. It can happen. I mean, you know.
It happens.
It does happen.
And it works.
And it works. So let's leave ethnicity out of it. And that's why Russell Crowe could play just about anything. And never has a man been cooler in the movies. Except, I mean, he's like the Captain Kirk of ancient Rome.
Wow.
Come on, man. You know I'm right. You know you can't. My logic is not faulty in this. Anyway, so then what happens is Maximus goes to be with his men, and Commodus goes to visit his father. Mm-hmm. And they're talking, and then Marcus just drops the hammer and says, "Look, man, you're not going to be Caesar. Maximus is going to be Caesar."
Well, Maximus is supposed to usher in a republic where the Senate takes over and people are represented through their senators.
Democratic Republic of Rome.
Yeah. So Maximus is supposed to make that happen.
Maximus is supposed to make that happen, and Commodus gets told that, you know, you're out of it. Sorry.
Yeah, he just straight up tells him, he's like, "You're not going to be Caesar.
You're not going to be Caesar because he says you're not a moral man."
Yeah, and then I love this part. I love where, you know, he like says, "These are the 5 virtues that you've always thrown up in my face, but I'm this, and this, and you never cared about that." I thought that was a great speech.
But you know what? If you're really virtuous, you don't have to explain to your own father that you're virtuous, which makes him more of a chump. I just thought that was a really, really great speech. And yeah, you know he's a jerk, but it's just a really interesting dynamic between father and son, and the damage that was done from him not being accepted and loved by his father, and how children crave and want their parents to be proud of them. Yeah, but his dad was waging war for the last 12 years to make Rome safe from its enemies. You know? So Visigoths would come over the hill and sack the city and end the Roman reign. Anyway, because Commodus is still a douche. I mean, yes, you do feel for him. You do understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, he's a rejected child. That hurts.
And he's a douche.
He's a douche because of it.
Or in spite
Maybe he
of it.
was like an annoying kid, and so his father didn't like him. But that affects him. That changes who he is.
He also wants to sleep with his sister.
Yeah, he's gross.
Which is gross.
He's a messed up dude.
And he grows up with mental illness and becomes the Joker. So it shows that he's a fucked up guy.
It all started in childhood.
So anyway, in a shocking moment of patricide, he kills his own father.
He kills him.
In anger.
He does.
And then he also knows now he has to move quickly. He makes it look like his father died in his sleep because his father's told everyone for the last... His father's like Hyman Roth. He's been telling everybody he's been dying for the same heart attack for 10 years.
Yeah.
So Commodus kills his own father.
He does.
And knows...
And then tells everyone that he just died peacefully in his sleep.
And then he takes over.
And they're all like, yeah, right.
And he
Especially
knows...
Maximus, because he's like, he already told me his plan. Like, there's no way he just died in his sleep.
Right.
He knows right away.
The emperor's been slain.
Yeah.
He knows the emperor's been slain. And
And so does the sister.
Oh, the sister knows the whole time.
She knows.
And then of course Commodus now has to get rid of Maximus.
Right.
And now that he's the Caesar, he's in control. Nobody's going to be
because he's like, he gives him one chance to like kiss up to him.
Yes.
And Maximus is like, get your hand out of my face.
Well, he goes, can I count on you? He
Commodus puts his hand out for him to kiss his hand. And he's like, fuck that shit.
Yes, that's exactly what
I'm
he said.
out of here.
Yeah, Maximus is... And at this point, I mean, Maximus knows that the emperor has been slain. He even says that he tries to mobilize his troops. He knows this is a coup.
Yeah, he tells his second-hand man.
He tells Quintus.
And Quintus is like, you cannot go against Caesar.
Yeah, Quintus is
and then he knows, like, he's in deep shit now. When number 2 is not on his side.
Well, Quintus just takes orders. He's a soldier. He's
what
not...
a dick.
Well, look, I mean...
The Caesar was murdered by his son.
Yeah, but they don't know that. They don't know that.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't know that.
No, that guy was a dick.
Yeah, he was a dick, but they don't know that. So anyway, the transfer of power happens. The Praetorian Guard has to do what the Praetorian Guard has to do, which is protect Caesar. You can't go, did you kill your father? They have to do what he tells them to do. So they do.
They could have put the kibosh right there and then.
They could have, but
they could have. They had the power.
But no one
the
believes.
Manpower.
There's no evidence of that. They just believe they're not. No, they can't. We know what happened, but think about it from their perspective. What are they supposed to do? What's Quintus supposed to do?
Okay, here's Quintus. Here's your leader, your general Maximus, who just won, had a relationship with, and you know his character for the past 12 plus years. And you know how loyal he was to Caesar, and he's a level-headed person. Yet you're going to back up the son of Caesar, who is...
Yeah, but they don't have. You have to understand. These guys are soldiers. They take orders. They're not born and bred, and he's been trained since he was a kid.
Yeah, but this was number 2.
I know he's number two, but what's he supposed to do? He's like, I can only do what I can only do.
Maximus,
but
take him out right at that point. But he doesn't. Anyway,
yeah, but then
there'd be no story.
That would be the shortest movie ever. It would have been a great short film.
Yeah,
it would have been, and
this is kind of Game of Thrones-ish.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's very much, it's political intrigue and all that. So what does Quintus do? He has to turn the Praetorian Guard back around on Maximus, and some men take him out. They take Maximus out to kill him.
They do.
Because that's what they're supposed to do, and they do. But of course, the men are not as smart as Maximus, and one of them's blade sticks because it's so cold.
Well, even before that, I mean, they're dealing with somebody who's very skilled, and there's 4 of them, but he quickly makes...
Oh yeah, no, Maximus is taken out to be killed by his own men, essentially, that he used to lead, and he turns the tables on him, kills them all.
He does.
And runs off.
But he's wounded.
He's wounded in the shoulder. He's got a really terrible wound right by his tattoo. His tattoo that says Spore.
Yeah.
I guess that's a tattoo. I guess they all have it.
Yeah, it
says
indicates
Rome.
that he's I'm part of the military.
I'm from Rome, dude. I'm part. Yeah. So he escapes, and everyone thinks. Well, the I guess anybody who's surviving says no, Maximus is dead. They don't know that he is alive.
Nobody knows he's alive.
Nobody knows he's alive, and he heads off to go home.
He goes home.
He goes home to Spain.
He goes home because he knows, because the new Caesar, what's his name?
Commodus.
Tells him that his family, that he'll meet his family in the afterlife.
Yeah, we're gonna.
So he knows that he's gonna go after his family.
Yeah, his whole family's gonna be killed.
Because he begs for his family's life. Like when he's about to be killed, he says, "Please take care of my family." Oh, you'll meet them in the afterlife, is what Commodus says to him. So he knows that his family is going to be killed, so he's in a hurry to save them.
and all the while he is in a bad way. I mean, his wound is bad.
Yeah.
And he doesn't make it in time.
He doesn't, and as he approaches, he sees these plumes of
yeah. Well,
smoke.
you see the Praetorian Guards show up at his house.
You do.
He's got a beautiful wife and a really sweet
the little
son.
boy, thinks it's his dad. He sees these soldiers coming, and he's running up to them, and they literally run him over with their horses.
And they cut away from it, so it's not that brutal, but it's fucking brutal.
It's
like
brutal.
they run these guys run over this kid with a horse. And in case you were wondering that this movie, if it was real, how brutal it got, I mean, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And then the mother just reacts, and it's Maximus's wife is one of those, like, again, a woman of much descent, like German, Greek, Spanish. She's like this incredibly classically beautiful, timeless goddess, like this incredibly beautiful woman, and good things don't happen to her after this.
No,
she watches her son.
And as he approaches, like, the whole place is on fire.
It's on fire, and he finds his wife and his son hung.
And burnt.
And burnt up and hung.
Burnt and hung. And he buries them and just collapses on their graves. And that's where he stays until he's found.
He is found. He's found by I guess, slavers, like who probably came and saw the smoke. Mm-hmm. And he is brought to a town, to Zucabar, a Roman province. And he's brought there. And on the way there, he's dying, but there is Jaimon Hansu. And Jaimon Hansu is like one of his first, I think it was after Amistad. Was it after? I think it was after Amistad. So we'd already known Jaimon Hansu from Amistad, right. But wait, let me, it's Juba. I think his name is, he's Juba. And he's a Numidian tribesman. And he was taken by slave traders as well.
Yeah, but before you learn all that, there's this cool scene or how they filmed it where he's just floating.
Yeah.
And they use it again in the film, but I just think that's like so cool where he's just like floating over the ground.
Yeah, they have a camera like mounted up and they're dragging him with the camera. No, it's really cool. And they put maggots on his wound to help clean the wound.
Yeah, he wakes up and he notices the maggots and what is his name?
Maximus.
No, Juba, he goes to wipe them out, and Juba's like, no, they'll clean up the wound, and it's so gross. It's like these maggots, like, eating the... Gross.
Yeah, but that was medicine back in the day. That was socialized medicine for you. So they go into Zucabar, and the best of those, the slavers sell the best, and you meet basically Watto from the Phantom Menace, who's like, Proximo, I have the best, slaves, and most of them are not in great shape. But so Oliver Reed, the great Oliver Reed from like The Brood and many other movies, but the great drunk Oliver Reed, who at this point I heard stories that Oliver Reed would drink like 10 bottles of wine, and then he would pee in the bottles of wine because he didn't want to get up. So he'd drink the bottle and then pee in the empty.
Was he able to even pee in the bottles?
Yeah.
Or did he like just pee next to the bottles?
Well, no, but he died during making this movie. They didn't finish the movie, so some of his scenes at the end are CG.
You're kidding.
No, Oliver Reed died in a bar. He had a heart attack in a bar.
That is the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, but he's so good in this movie. And,
he's so good.
And
he drank himself to death.
Well, he was a British actor.
So that explains why he drank himself to death?
Yeah.
What, British actors drink themselves to death?
Well, maybe not to death. Some of them live great long lives, and they become they're mythical drinkers. Like Richard Harris was one of them.
I've never heard that.
All you have to do is read about Peter O'Toole, Richard Harris, Oliver Reed. Just read all about it.
That's really sad.
So anyway, it's a bummer that they had to end.
What a talent to just lose because he's drinking.
And if you're a Dario Argento fan, David Hemmings is in this movie too, but that doesn't happen until later because we haven't got to Rome yet. But they're gonna fight. Maximus and Juba are brought to gladiator training, and they're trained by I forget the character's name, but a man from Germania. Rolf, that's right. Rolf
Yes.
Mueller as Hagen, a Germanic warrior, who's asking, have you been to Germania? And he's like, well, I've been to many countries. Because he didn't want to get into it. He didn't want to talk about... Maximus didn't want to go, yeah, I was in Germania and I killed everybody I met.
Right.
So, Rolf Mueller, and he's a great character.
He is.
And there's... So, Juba, Rolf, and then they all kind of like each other, even though there's a camaraderie there, there's a respect there, and
Well, because they're enslaved together.
yeah, they're the Morituri. They who are about to die. That's who they are. So it's pretty cool. And now at the same time, we cut back to Rome, and Commodus and Lucilla show back up in Rome, and then we get to meet Derek Jacobi, Claudius himself. Derek Jacobi runs the Roman Senate. And the senators, there's three, and now in the extended version that we watched, there's a lot more Roman intrigue. There's a lot more scenes with the senators, with Commodus and Lucilla.
Yeah, I was wondering what was cut out.
Yeah, that was what was cut out. And wait a minute, why? Oh, Derek Jacobi is Gracchus. That's right, he's Senator Gracchus, and he opposes Commodus. He's very. He rips on people to their face. I mean, but he's a statesman. He believes in the Republic of Rome. He's not corrupt, even though he's got his boy toys and all that. He really does believe. He's got some very beautiful boy at his side, like they did back then. And no one cared. No one cared about pronouns in Rome. They just did what they wanted to do, and no one cared. So anyway, and there was nothing politically correct. The only way you could be politically correct is if you supported Commodus.
Right.
That was it. So you see there's a lot of Roman intrigue, and Commodus comes back and clearly has really no interest in government, doesn't want to govern. And Lucilla is shown as having a son, Lucius, a young son, and her husband is dead.
Yeah.
Lucius' father's dead. And clearly Lucilla and Maximus have a past. They were probably high school sweethearts.
Yes. Or
something like that, but it didn't work out for whatever reason, because he was leader of the Foreign Legion, or the Felix Legions, and she married probably some statesman. Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were lovers, they loved each other, but they didn't get together.
No.
And then, so the shenanigans are going on. Gracchus is this guy's gotta go. And so the senators are scheming, and then there's a Ted Cruz-like senator who wants to suck up to Commodus.
Yep, he does.
And he does.
He does.
And he's not on Gracchus's team. And so there's Roman intrigue. The senators, they want to get rid of Commodus. They don't really know how. And Lucilla is scared because Commodus
he's brought back the gladiators, the games.
Well, that's what he says. He's going to give the people what they want. They want blood sports and bread and circuses.
So
is what they want.
He's got this going on every single day, and he's spending all the money, and he's selling the grain reserves to fund this. And so in 2 years, everyone is going to be starving to death.
Kind of like selling public land to oil companies.
Yes.
So yes, we know how that goes. Not well. Anyway, it winds up with people in the Capitol. That's what happens. So that's what Commodus is doing, and he's bad. Well, at the same time, Maximus and his military training and his fighting ability, his fighting prowess, is proving to Proximo to be very useful.
Yeah.
In the ring.
Right. And initially he's just killing people because that's what he has to do.
Yeah, he just goes in there, and he's
not trying to win over the crowd or anything.
No, and he's just straight out, flat out killing people,
killing them
as efficiently as possible. And then there's this great scene between Oliver Reed and Russell Crowe.
But before that happens, he's killing everyone, and he throws down the weapon, and he's looking at the crowd, and he's like, "Are you happy now?"
Well, no, he doesn't say that yet. He goes to meet Proximo, has him, and Proximo's like, "Look, man, killing is fine, but we're entertainers here. You got to give people a little showmanship." And they have this great conversation about Proximo explains we're going to go to Rome. They've started the games
that's
again.
after he's like,
No, this because then he says, "Are you not entertained?" later, but so there's this great. You're going to come to Rome, and Proximo's like, you hear the crowd, and the thunder of the crowd, and Maximus is like, "You were a gladiator," and he's like, "Yes, I was." And he shows the gladius, the sword, the wooden sword. It's a wooden sword, and he goes, "I got this from Marcus Aurelius," and
who freed me?
Who freed me? Yeah, and Maximus is like, "You knew Marcus Aurelius." The irony of his life is seeping into him, and then of course, he goes out and fights. Oh no, you're right. He does. You're right. But yeah, you're right. That happens after. That happens after the. Are you not entertained?
2 times, but
are you not entertained?
No.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm wrong. I got my wires crossed. Yeah, and that was it. He says that's when he says, "Are you not entertained?" He's killing people. Then he spits when the crowd is.
Yeah, he's disgusted.
He's disgusted.
Like, how could these people enjoy killing?
Because he believes in strength and honor.
Yeah.
And there's no honor dispatching men in the arena.
Right.
I saw that in a Star Trek episode, Bread and Circuses, from the 2nd season. It's about the same thing, but it was 20th century gladiators, and they were on TV killing people.
Yeah.
Kind of like reality television today, but different. So
I hope they're not killing people on reality TV.
So yeah, but at the same time, Proximo and Rolf Mueller and Juba, they're heading. They go to Rome.
They go to Rome.
They go to Rome to fight in the games.
They do. And at this point, Maximus is like, "Oh, we're going to Rome," and he thinks. You get the sense that he's thinking, "Oh, maybe I can still do something about."
Well, he wants to see, because he hears the story that Marcus Aurelius gave him his freedom. He's like, well, maybe if I can meet I too want to meet the emperor.
Yeah, because he wants to follow through with what.
Well, at this point, he wants to avenge Marcus. He wants to kill Commodus.
He does,
and he knows his life. It's like, if I get to a position where I'm good enough, the emperor is going to come to me, and I will be able to kill him.
Right.
So that becomes his sort of.
That's his goal.
Yeah. To kill, and it just, then it gets the extended version is much more interesting. It's almost like, I want to say it's like a half an hour longer. It's almost 3 hours long, and there's a lot more there. You see, because a lot more scheming's going on. You find out more about how Commodus is. This whole thing is ridiculous, and at the same time, Commodus and Lucilla become more threatened. And also Lucius, the kid, is also the heir. Will be the next heir.
Right. So his mother's very afraid because he could be killed at any moment. And her brother is so crazy. Like, he's a loose cannon. You never know. Like, you could instantly be. And he's creepy too. Creepy as hell.
He's always trying to kiss her and touch her boobs.
It's so gross.
He's gross. But then one of the great action scenes. I hope you didn't sleep through this.
I didn't sleep at all.
Well, but just sleep through when you say tune out at the action scene.
Oh yeah, I kind of tune out.
The first scene in the Colosseum is amazing.
Oh yeah, no, the Colosseum scenes I did not tune out. It's just the battle scenes
And it's the Battle of Carthage. Commodus has decided we're going to recreate historical battles. They're going to do the Battle of Carthage, where the barbarian hordes are destroyed by Hannibal or whatever. Or is it Hannibal's barbarian hordes are destroyed by somebody? But either way, we're going to take you back to the hallowed halls of antiquity, and that's when you meet David Hemmings. If you like Dario Argento movies, from like Blow Up, he was in Antonioni's Blow Up. He was the photographer. Which did we watch it for? We've watched it before. And Suspiria. Deep Red. So it's David Hemmings, who's he's been drinking too, as you can see. He's a big guy now. But he's in it, and he puts on the wig, and he's the guy that he calls the plays. He's the MC, the red wig MC. A lot of red hair in this movie. So,
well, the colors in this movie are oranges and blues.
Yes, blue and orange and teal.
So, like the gladiators and the prisoners are wearing this cool blue color, kind of like this color. And then everything else is like this beautiful orange color.
Yeah, but it's an incredible scene, And you go out into the arena, and it's so great. Maximus looks around, and he's like, we're all going to die. And he finally says, he goes, have any of you ever been in the military? And a few people are, and he's like, look, if we act together, whatever comes through that door, if we stay together, we'll survive. And they've got shields and stuff, and then Maximus basically, and then these chicks, these hot chicks in these golden armor come out in these horse-drawn carriages with knives and archers. I mean, these are lethal people. And they come out, and there's this huge battle in the arena.
Yeah.
And Maximus is using battle tactics, so they can all come down and create those sort of tortoise
and then
shells.
Everyone else is on chariots.
Yeah, they're on these chariots. And how'd you like that scene?
That was pretty intense.
I mean, those girls who's the archer.
She gets cut in half.
Just cut in half. The carnage is amazing. And it's an incredible battle, an incredible action scene. And of course, Maximus and his gladiators, his morituri, are victorious.
They are.
And of course, David Hemmings is asked by Commodus, didn't they win the Battle of Carthage? I mean, there's a lot of humor in this. This movie is don't you think it's entertaining?
It's very entertaining.
This movie is wildly entertaining.
And this story, it's a good story. I mean, it's a story of revenge. Who doesn't love? And honor. Like, he's doing the honorable thing.
Well, he tries.
Who doesn't love a good story about that?
But at the end of this thing, the Praetorian Guard come out onto the field, onto the playing field, surround the gladiators, and they're looking around, going, "What's going on?" Because Commodus wants to meet the gladiator, the main gladiator wants to meet, and if he sees his face, because Maximus is wearing this very cool helmet. The jig is up, the news is out, they finally found him. The renegade who had it made, achieved for a bounty, if you're a Styx fan. But if this happens, it's bad. I mean, there's this great confrontation. How dare you turn your back on me? Commodus is like...
Well, because he's wearing a mask, and he asks him his name, and he just says,
I am Gladiator.
I'm Gladiator, and he turns around. He's like, how dare you take your mask off and tell me who you are. Tell me your name. And
it's so great, because he takes his mask off and he turns, and that's when he delivers the line, I am Maximus Decimus Meridius, captain of the Felix legions, blah, 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 father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next. And then, of course, the rest of the crowd can't hear.
Yeah.
And that's when he has to give the thumbs up or thumbs down. That's where it comes from, the Roman arena, and so in real life.
Yes.
So basically... Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert were either saying yes or kill them. That's what they're saying. Dun 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 dun. You die. You're gone. But anyway, so
movie dies.
So Commodus has no choice but to go thumbs up because he doesn't want to lose the crowd. The crowd loves.
They love him. They love him. They think he's amazing. He's entertaining. They love him.
And then. You kind of know, I mean, it's not like this movie is very unpredictable. Now that he's been revealed, everything is out in the open.
But that doesn't mean it shouldn't be told.
No, it's great. It's great. But I mean, it's like, to recount the plot, there are these conspirators that are trying to use Maximus to kill Commodus. Commodus is one step ahead because he is still the emperor, and everything gets heightened. Lucius.
Yeah, but in the end, it's the kid who reveals the plan.
Accidentally. Yeah, I mean, but Commodus is smart. He's smart and devious.
He is.
And he's got a senator that's like, I know where my bread is buttered. I'm gonna go with you, even though, what do we learn from history? Never go with the douche. Even if he's in power.
Because the douche is going to be taken down.
The douche is going down.
Douches never survive.
They never survive because they're douches.
Because they're douches.
They're douche canoes. And they're going down river and over the falls because they're douches. And Commodus is a super douche. He's an uber douche.
He is the ultimate douche.
But he's dangerous.
Super dangerous because he's crazy.
It's kind of like Republicans have never watched this movie for the last 4 years. I mean, even now, even today, they're like, yep, we're still going to protect the douche even though he's no longer around. I'm just saying.
That's crazy to me.
Hey, you know what?
Because even the Romans knew, like, once the guy was going down, they were like...
Well, I mean, you know what the problem is? These people have not seen The Godfather. All the lessons in life are in The Godfather. And The Godfather, can you help me out, Tom? And you know, the story about if a plot against the emperor fails, everybody who's in the plot gets a chance to take their own lives. I mean, all the history you need to know, it's in The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2. It's all you need to know. It's all there. But apparently, you know, nobody learns. History just repeats itself over and over again.
It does.
So,
because people are people.
The plot against the emperor fails. Everybody that, you know, it's all bad. And after Maximus, they try to kill Maximus with the only undefeated gladiator in Rome. Commodus makes him come out of retirement after 5 years and puts him in the ring against Maximus. And they cheat. They throw tigers at Maximus.
They do.
And
they do. And I have to say, Gilbert was on the end of the bed watching, and when the tigers came out, he was glued to the screen.
Gilbert, he's a giant 60-pound Muppet dog, and he loved it.
The tigers were just mesmerizing to him, and he did not understand what was happening.
No. We either watch dog rescue videos where they're delivered to the screen, or we watch.
He sits up and he sits up like a person.
Yeah.
And watches them.
Yeah, I don't think they've understood the idea of what TV really is. They watch it, but they don't quite understand.
I wonder if they think it's like real.
I don't know. I think they can't smell it, so they don't. They don't smell the animal. They're like, why am I looking at this?
But if there's a dog on screen, they're both watching.
Yes. So, long story short, Maximus ends up battling Commodus in the ring. It's a big showdown, and Commodus cheats, has to wound Maximus to give himself an advantage. Doesn't work. Maximus ends up killing Commodus in the ring, and everybody's saved. Gracchus gets to take over and turn Rome into a republic, just like Marcus Aurelius wanted. Lucilla is saved from her incestuous brother.
But he dies from his wounds.
Yeah.
And then he's off to
Elysium.
To join his family.
He goes to the afterlife in Elysium. That's another great. This movie's full of great lines. By the way, this script was basically written as they were shooting. They didn't have a finished script, and so
you're kidding.
No, they were making up lines. And
well, it doesn't show. I mean, it really seems like they knew what they were doing.
They do, and
I'm
so
impressed.
No, I love this movie. It's every time I watch this, it's incredibly gratifying. What did you think of the film?
I love this film. I loved it the first time I saw it, and I love it still.
It's great.
Even though you love it so much that you quote it all the time and make me watch clips of it every once in a while. And when we put it in last night, you were quoting all along.
I can't help it. It's one of those movies where it's like, you know, when Quintus says people should know when they're conquered. And then there's a couple of cutaways, and then you cut back. Would you, Quintus? Would I? I mean, it's great. You knew Marcus Aurelius. I can't help it. You know, this movie to me is one of the movies. It's like Almost Famous or Social Network or Goodfellas or The Godfather or All About Eve or Sunset Boulevard or To Live and Die in L.A. It's just one of those movies where I could never get tired of watching this movie. And there's some sloppy things in it. You know, you can tell there's some cut to speeded up landscape shots as a transition, so we'll go from here to here because they didn't shoot. I mean, it's not like this movie is unimpeachable. There's things about this movie where
well, you don't notice it because the story is so compelling. Like, you just want to know. You want to know that it all works out in the end because it's worrisome that this evil dude is in charge.
Yeah, and he's gonna like rape his sister and kill his sister's son
and starve everyone and just be a douche.
Yeah, he's a super douche. Although he does have good clothes, his white armor at the end. I mean, look, I have wanted a 6-scale figure of Maximus, and I have third
Do you have figures?
I have third-party figures.
Where are they?
They're up. I know. I'll bring it. I brought some figures down that were up there today. I showed them.
Why didn't you get it when you knew we were doing this movie tonight?
They're in the box.
I could have unboxed him.
Well, no, because the one that I have that needs to
They're
be
gonna free the toys.
I understand.
Could you imagine?
It's a different
freeing
show, babe.
Maximus.
Well, yeah, and
I want to free Maximus.
Well, I did recently order one.
For me?
No.
Can I have the reject one?
Yeah, I'll find it and give it to you.
See,
She keeps taking my
desk
figures.
Is the desk of all the reject toys,
That's not true.
except for my Mandalorian and my pirate Roberts.
The Dread Pirate Roberts I bought you, the Mandalorian I bought you, took my Robbie the Robot. That's a very expensive,
I
very
love
rare
Robbie
figure.
the robot, but I want him to actually work.
Well, he works. We got to turn him on. But it's a Robbie the Robot figure that actually comes with a figure of the guy that operated him on the inside.
No, I love Robbie. You can never get him back.
We'll have to talk about that off camera.
You said I could have him, so
I didn't say you could have him. I said you could put him on your desk.
that is not true. You said I could have him.
I didn't say you could have him. That's an incredibly rare 6-scale figure.
Thank you, sweetheart. That's so sweet of you to give me Robbie the robot.
Anyway, so the movie is great, and we have to give a special shout out to the score. Hans Zimmer worked with Lisa Gerrard from Dead Can Dance.
Yeah, no, it's
and if
so
you
good.
Dead Can Dance is one of my favorite bands. I mean, I call them a band, but I love Dead Can Dance, and the fact that they got Lisa Gerrard to work on this score with Hans Zimmer, that was amazing. Amazing. Doesn't get any better.
Yeah, the music is really good.
It's really good. It's really
Really
the
good.
score for this movie is incredible.
good.
I think it won the Oscar too.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, so we've got letters. We got a lot of letters tonight. A lot of
And
letters to read.
There's one letter on Messenger, just so you know.
Yes, I remember that. Letter on Messenger. Let's see. We got letters. This first letter comes from Big Bad Bats Maru. Dear Rob, I was wondering if you and Elizabeth would consider watching The Color Purple on Whining About Movies in celebration of Black History Month. Whenever I make a list of my favorite films, The Color Purple is always number one. I watch it annually and always see or feel something new with each viewing. It's one of those properties that evolves and gains meaning as you revisit and as you age.
Oh, I haven't
I was
seen it in
10
years.
we should watch it.
Yeah.
Let's make that the next movie. Why not?
I mean, we can.
I know we got a list, but we don't. Viewer's choice. I think.
Actually, I don't even know what our next.
Well, we do now. It's The Color
what's our-
Purple. We're watching The Color Purple for Black History Month. Sister, you've been on my mind. I love this. I love the score.
Well, I grew up watching Oprah, so
I loves Hoppo. God knows I do. I love The Color Purple. I cry every time at the end when Celie's sister comes back from Africa. It kills me every time. But and Oprah Winfrey is the GOAT in this movie. She is so good.
so good.
I wish she had more of an acting career. I know she became one of the richest women in the world. That's fine, but I love her in this movie.
every single day after school.
So, well, let me finish this letter.
Yeah, sorry.
I was 10 at the movie's release and 12 when I was allowed to watch it. My very religious family was very concerned about its adult themes, especially the overt lesbian relationship that developed. See, in my house, I would have said that was a plus. I love what this movie says about female self-discovery and empowerment and the collective power of women. As an adult, I've come to appreciate the way Alice Walker casts a suspicious eye on Christianity and the part it has played in the subjugation of women. As an African American, I love the metaphor of the color purple. It's a traditional color of royalty. Prince. Just saying. But you're right about that. Let me finish. I love the metaphor of the color purple. It's a traditional color of royalty. There's also the sexual allegory. Celie learns to appreciate and celebrate her sexual self. I'm sure you understand the literal reference here. Nominated for 11 Oscars and walking away with none. Quincy Jones didn't get an Oscar for his score. It's incredible. This movie was a disrespected masterpiece. Whoopi was luminous as Celie and should have won that year. Oprah Winfrey was a revelation. The dining table scene towards the end of the movie was largely improvised. That scene is so good. The cinematography was breathtaking and the direction, perfection. Add in a wonderful score and soundtrack by Quincy Jones, and you have an exceptional cinematic experience. My family and circle of friends were all very familiar with the movie, but it wasn't until I went to college and stepped into adult life, thus meeting blacks from all over the country and the world, that I realized how much this movie means to so many blacks of a certain age. Lines like, "It's gonna rain on your head," "You told Hoppo to beat me," were just two of many notable quotables in the community. Everyone knew the words to "God is trying to tell you something." Such a good song. There's my pitch. I'd love to hear yours and EGB's take on the movie. Peace and blessings to you in the Post-Geek singularity.
That's
Big
awesome.
Bad Bats Maroon. I'm in. Big Bad Bats
Yeah,
Maroon. Done. That's our next movie. I love The Color Purple. I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's been many
I
years
went and
for
saw
me.
that movie many times when it was in the theater. I loved it. This next letter comes from Brian Eng. Hi, Rob and Liz. Changing things up with a music question. The Rock Hall in our hometown of Cleveland, Ohio, came out with their nominees today, and I wanted you both to pick 8 out of these 16. Mary J. Blige, Kate Bush, Devo, the Foo Fighters, the Go-Go's, Iron Maiden, Jay-Z, Chaka Khan, Carole King, Fela Kuti, LL Cool J, New York Dolls, Rage Against the Machine, Todd Rundgren, Tina Turner, and Dionne Warwick. That's a hell of a list, man.
Wow. I love the Foo Fighters.
Well, okay, we have to pick 8. Okay, Foo Fighters is one. I'm going to go for Todd Rundgren. Old,
Yeah.
but Todd Rundgren. Got to take Todd Rundgren. How about Tina Turner?
Yes, Tina Turner.
I can't believe Tina Turner's not already in, so that's 3.
Yeah, that's amazing. She's just being inducted.
I
now.
love Kate Bush, so I would take Kate Bush.
Bush is
Kate
good.
Bush. So I have 3 left.
Rage Against the Machine.
Really? All right. That's Rage Against the Machine 5. Okay, we got 3 more. Still got 3 more. I would say maybe Iron Maiden. It is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
True.
Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Let's go Maiden. And you know what? I know this might be... I'm going to go with LL Cool J. Because Brenda's got a big old butt, and I'm leaving you. See ya! Like, LL Cool J's early work, he was doing rap records in the mid-'80s.
And I was listening to all of it.
And going back to Cali,
Yeah.
to Cali, I don't
Yep.
think so.
You're right.
I'm LL Cool J.
Yes.
We got one more. Let's go down the list. Mary J. Blige. Nah, she's got more work to do. Devo. Groundbreaking. I don't know. The Go-Go's.
I like the Go-Go's.
You don't want to take the Go-Go's? I don't know.
Keep going down the list. And we'll
We took
decide.
Iron Maiden.
Yeah, we did.
Jay-Z, come on. No, he's groundbreaking. Jay-Z, Chaka Khan, she feels for you.
I like Chaka Khan.
All right. Carole King.
King.
I think
Okay, keep going.
Carole King. Fela Kuti, it's Fela Kuti.
I don't know.
And New York Dolls, maybe. Tina Turner and Dionne Warwick.
We already took Tina Turner.
I know, but that's what last at the bottom of the list. So do you get Dionne Warwick in there?
Dionne Warwick.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, Dionne Warwick, it is. There you go. There you go, Brian Eng. There's our
From
list.
Cleveland.
So there you go. This next letter comes from, would you believe, Black Philip Alvarez? Black Philip Alvarez says, "Greetings, Rob, Elysabeth, and my fellow PGS community. Back again with another letter, this time on Gladiator. It's been a while since I've sent a letter. I've been dealing with health issues, no worries, I'm fine now, but I was also working on my short story for the contest, and it was officially sent in last week. I knew that. I needed a break from letters and was planning to wait even longer. That is until for Viewers' Choice Month, you decided to cover Gladiator. We didn't decide, you decided.
You guys
A fantastic
decided.
choice from our community. There's so much to love about this movie. One subject I would love to bring up first is this is sort of a comeback film for Ridley Scott. His last 3 films, G.I. Jane, White Squall, and 1492, were not so well received. Hard to believe it was the great Thelma and Louise, which was released 9 years ago in '91, before a film like Gladiator would gain him notoriety once again. After this film, he would go on to make 16 more films all the way to 2017 with all the money in the world. Some of my personal favorites in that span are Hannibal, Black Hawk Down, American Gangster, The Martian, and yes, even both Prometheus and Alien Covenant. The Martian's one of my favorite movies ever.
Martian is so good.
Before Thelma and Louise, Ridley Scott was known for making some of the best sci-fi, horror, and fantasy films of the 70s and 80s. Alien, Blade Runner, and Legend definitely bring verisimilitude to his illustrious career. After that, he made two fairly underrated thrillers with Someone to Watch Over Me and Black Rain with the always great Michael Douglas. It's funny you bring up Black Rain because I brought my Black Rain action figure out today. What I enjoy most about Ridley Scott as a director is he's not afraid to tackle any genre. He has a very diverse group of movies on his resume. He's done horror, sci-fi, comedy, a period piece, historical. Is that still up for debate? I don't want to compare him to someone like Spielberg who can take on any genre, but hey, the PGS community can discuss it all they want. Part of me feels that it was to maybe distinguish himself from his brother Tony Scott, rest in peace, who is another fellow director of some of our favorite action films ever. He had his own style he stood by until the day he passed. Wouldn't call it sibling rivalry, as I heard Tony was approached to direct Black Hawk Down, but recommended his own brother instead to give it more personal experience. It makes sense, as Black Hawk Down does feel like a Tony Scott film and not so much Ridley. It's also my own personal favorite of Ridley's films he's directed, yes, more than tonight's films. Actually, I think Tony Scott had bigger box office grosses, too. Speaking of tonight's movie Gladiator, I mean, what's not to love about this movie? It's got great action scenes, one of the most brutal and hateful villains ever, Commodus, and the most badass hero. We all wish we could be Maximus, except dying. But yes, his story is a sad one, whose family is brutally murdered, and all because Commodus finds out he's not going to be the new king. I don't want to go into too much detail about the film, because that's the purpose of the show tonight. I will say that this is totally a dude film, though, and in the best possible way. You know what? The extended version's less of a dude film, because it's got more of Lucilla and more of her plight. The acting is great from all sides. Are you not entertained? Oh, absolutely, from beginning to end. And can we please talk about the brilliant score from Hans Zimmer and Lisa Gerrard? This is probably my favorite score of his before he decided to go all comic book composer. Maybe not a knock, but they've all sounded the same since, and this one stands out. Shall I talk about the acting? Well, sure, this movie earned Russell Crowe an Oscar, and today is still my favorite role of his. He disappeared into the role. While, yes, he's a badass, all he wanted to do was get home to his family and his farm. He knew he could do it by getting revenge on Commodus and with honor. To me, oh my frickin' God, is one of the most powerful scenes ever. Man tears all over. As for Joaquin Phoenix as Commodus, I honestly believe he should have won the Oscar for this role. Holy shit, have I never hated a character more than this creepy bastard. Pardon my French. The scenes with not just his sister are beyond sinister. Look at the scenes with his nephew. Some of the most cringe-inducing scenes ever put on film. Yeah, I said it. I've also never felt more vindicated than when Maximus finally kills this SOB and can return home to his family. Man tears again. This movie to me is a masterpiece of cinema, and I wouldn't even hesitate calling it a perfect film. If you know my past letters... Oh, we do. We do. If you know my past letters, then that's definitely saying something. So thank you, Rob, Elysabeth, and especially my fellow Post-Geek Singularity community tonight for covering Gladiator during Viewers' Choice Month. I look forward to seeing the other films chosen this month. Take care and be safe. Take care and be safe. That's a good one. This next one comes from Omar94. Hi, Rob and Elizabeth. I remember Rob doing a Robservations episode discussing the 20th anniversary of Gladiator, and now it's a movie done for WINEning. The film was one of the top-grossing movies of 2000 and won 4 Oscars, Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Visual Effects. It also solidified Russell Crowe, a big name in the industry, as he was still not a big name yet, despite appearing in some acclaimed films beforehand like L.A. Confidential. Interestingly, despite the success of Gladiator, Roger Ebert disliked the film, stating the writing was a problem, and he felt the look of the film was quite muddy, fuzzy, and indistinct. What up? And look where he is now. Following the film's success, sword and sandal historical-type epics starting getting made a lot, like Troy, Alexander, Kingdom of Heaven, which Ridley Scott also directed, and many others. Also, like many of Ridley Scott's movies, such as Blade Runner, Legend, and Kingdom of Heaven, a new cut was made for Gladiator, which extended its runtime to almost 3 hours at 2 hours and 50 minutes. Those were just facts I found out about Gladiator, which I wanted to share. Thanks, and live long and prosper. Well, so there you go. There's let's see, that's all the letters, but we got one more letter.
One more.
And I'm going to get it, and this letter is from Claudius, who is one half of the official couple of the Burnettwork, Claudius and Candida. And let's you send it on you said Messenger though, not on Facebook
right
Messenger.
There. The group one right there. Go down.
That Claude always sending group messages. You know how that goes.
Yeah, it's right there. No, go. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah,
right there.
click on it right there.
Okay. Oh, see, I gotta download this thing and open it up.
So complicated.
Well, yeah, but now I've got to find it and open it. And, where did it go? It's docs.
Go in your downloads.
No, I've got to open up Microsoft Word because it's a doc. But that's okay. I can do that. And let's go to open. Gladiator. There it is. Let's open this one up.
There we go.
All right. And this is from Claude and Candida. Bonsoir, Mademoiselle Elysabeth et bonsoir, Robert. Greetings to the Post-Geek Singularity. This is a quick letter. I apologize for submitting it last minute. That's okay. Modern technology allows us to share it with the crowd because we are entertained. Gladiator is a very special movie for Candida and I. It is the first movie that we saw together in the cinema. Let's drink to that.
Oh, nice.
All right. That's my man. Despite the fact that we went with a group of coworkers, Candida and I managed to be seated together. Boom, chicka, boom, boom. In the halcyon days of the year 2000, I moved from Marietta, Georgia, back to the Northeast. I was recruited by a startup software company in New Haven, Connecticut, and it was an opportunity to get to know the bridge and tunnel crowd. You must understand, to a New Yorker and Brooklynite, Connecticut was like Vermont. To me, Connecticut was country clubs, marinas, mansions, and hedge funds. I was the new interface designer. I'll bet you were the interface designer. I know. I see where this is going. Web developer and graphic artist. Candida was a cosmopolitan salesperson who had traveled the U.S., Latin America, and Western Europe. Like Connie Nielsen, Candida is multilingual and recently celebrated the turn of the decade in Milan. She had a long-distance relationship with a banker in Brazil. Yeah, but that guy wasn't around, was he? In jest, her co-workers nicknamed the man, who they never met, Durango, and assumed he had a horse ranch in the Brazilian countryside.
That's awesome.
We came from two different worlds, engineering and sales. Rarely do the two meet. Yeah, but when they do... Candida helped to coordinate regular dinners with a group of single co-workers called the Gormandizers Club. The group took in the local cuisine around Yale, which included Malay, Turkish, Etrian, Thai, Vietnamese, and Indian. The Gormandizers resembled Maximus's team of gladiators, just with women. This story gets better and better. Awesome. At the Turkish restaurant, Candida and I sat near each other on pillows. We were able to talk casually outside of work for the first time. As we got to know each other, she discovered my love of films. To my indignation, she called me a movie buff. For 20 years, this description has never failed to rankle me. What if she just called you buff, though? Yeah. Russell Crowe's character Maximus, the name the actor chose over the historical Narcissus, that's true, was from Iberia in present-day Spain. After the movie was over, Candida pointed out that she was born in Portugal, and parts of Portugal looked just like Maximus's farm. The farm scene was actually filmed in Tuscany, but I can confirm that parts of Portugal resemble it. Candida's appreciation of Gladiator's action sequences inspired me to suggest Wolfgang Petersen's 1981 World War II submarine film Das Boot in German. Of course, I offered my DVD copy of Das Boot's director's cut and a private viewing at my unnecessarily large apartment. So much for Durango. Bye-bye. My apologies again. This was a quick letter to mark the occasion. Claude, not only was this a great letter about Gladiator, it's a great Valentine's letter about how love blossoms even in the face of some Brazilian magnet that you've never seen before.
Durango.
If you're a Clockwork Orange fan, there's a Durango 95 in that movie. So anyway, there we go. And what does anybody else? We'll see what you guys have to say. Those are our letters. That was a lot of letters.
A lot of
That
letters.
was a good
I think people
amount.
like this film.
People love this. What's not to love about this movie? This movie it kicks ass. I love this film. Where am I? Here we go. Let's get down here. I can't quite get down here. Bronze Age Slacker says, "There once was a dream that was Rome. You could only whisper it. Anything more than a whisper and it would vanish." That's what Richard Harris said. Bronze Age Slacker knows his Gladiator. He says, historically accurate? Nah. CGI Rome? Yeah. Awesome soundtrack? Of course. Incredibly entertaining? Hell yeah. I love Gladiator, and it is so quotable. What we do in life echoes in eternity. Tim Myers says, brothers, what we do in life echoes in eternity. It's true. Claudius is here too. Claudius is everywhere. Shakespeare's Macbeth is also historically inaccurate. The 11th century Scottish king, I can't even pronounce that, Findaish Macbeth, seems to have ruled equally with law and order. Question, should writers avoid fictionalizing historical figures? That's a good question. Do you think they should?
I thought a lot about this kind of thing. I feel like generations today don't really know history very well, and so they're tainted by these fictitious depictions of historical events and people. And when they see these movies, then they get the idea that that's what it was like.
I agree with you.
And that really bothers me. I know my generation, we had to learn history in school, and it was very important. And so you kind of know, like, oh, this is the historical version, and then this is just like a fictitious embellishment of that story. But I don't think that young people today can distinguish the two. And that worries me because the kind of things that are coming out and are depicting history, and they're not depicting it correctly, I think that it's a problem. It's a problem because they're getting the wrong idea of what actually happened.
Well, I don't disagree with you, and you know, it's. I think that things like history and civics and these are important things to learn, and I think that a general education, learning is its own reward.
Yeah.
And I think that, the old adage, those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat history.
Yes.
And I think, the great thing about history is if you look at history as a narrative anyway, even though it already happened, it really happened, still it's contextualized the way we experience history now. It's contextualized as a story. It always is. Like, here's what happened, and but yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I would only hope that.
But if you don't even know the basic story of it, and you're being exposed to a fictitious story of it, that's the story that you're going to believe, because that's all that you've been exposed to.
Well, yeah, no, I agree with you. But I mean, the question is, should writers avoid fictionalizing historical figures? I mean, I would say that
no.
Yeah, like this film is pretty fictitious. There's a lot of real people in it, like Marcus Aurelius was not like the character portrayed, but still, I think I
think the problem lies with education.
But this movie doesn't come out, by the way. This movie doesn't purport to be historically accurate.
Right. But if you don't know the history, you could think that it is. Right,
but I think that it's up to, our society to understand that this isn't real.
True. I mean, it's not the filmmaker's problem that you don't know your history.
Or that our educational system is failing our population.
Right.
So, Claudius goes on to say, under Ridley Scott's direction, British technicians built a fragment of the Colosseum's first tier, 16 meters, 52 feet high, and a third of the original circumference, enough to fit 2,000 extras on Malta. CGI filled in the second and third tiers and statues. It's amazing. No, it was truly amazing. The Richard says, thumbs up, thumbs down. Critics really do kill the movies. They can. Siskel and Ebert could too.
Yeah, they can.
Tom Jr. Jackson is here. Ace and Rob, great episode as always, and now I must nerd out on you. The wine company of the wine you are drinking belongs to Stephen Amell, and it's Ashton Kutcher. And Stephen Amell and Kutcher's company is called Quarantine Wine. Hashtag the more you know. Yeah, well, we have to, again, thank Julius Goodwin for getting us, putting us in their wine club. So we get, this opened up really nicely.
Yeah, it did.
I really enjoy it. This is pretty neat. And they get other celebrities to make their own wine. And you think celebrity wine's like, I don't want to drink celebrity wine, but it's good.
Well, I mean, it doesn't mean that it's bad.
Well, that's true.
Because they're actual winemakers making the wine.
That is true. Timula the Spider Monkey says, can you do me a favor, Rob? It's the only time I'll encourage this, but could you do the "My name is Gladiator" line using your fantastic Australian accent? It's the one line in the film where his accent stands out to me. Maybe I'm overly harsh. My name is Gladiator, mate. How about that? Oh, mate. My name is Gladiator. But it's true, because when he says that, my name is Gladiator. It doesn't really. I guess you can hear the accent.
I didn't notice.
Oh, mate. 501 sends in a super chat. Have you ever watched Hans Zimmer's Gladiator portions during his live shows? Yes. I have a Hans Zimmer live Blu-ray. They're amazing. The soundtrack made the movie epic, if not legendary.
Yeah.
The music, I mean, they even quote a little Holtz, the planets, at the beginning with Mars. This score is great, and there's 2 different CDs of it too. It's amazing. Claudius goes on to say, people should know when they're conquered, and I should have closed my letter with meeting a girl who could appreciate Das Boot conquered me. I got that from your letter. I got that she conquered you. Thanks again for reading my letter. Great show, guys. Well,
thank you.
Well, thanks. But you know what? Here's to Claude and Candida, and to all of you lovers out there for Valentine's Day coming up. Tell everybody what I got you.
He got me the Mandalorian figure with the child.
With Grogu.
With Grogu.
But it doesn't say Grogu on the box.
No, it says the child.
Because they made it a while ago.
They made it before it was revealed that his name is Grogu.
It's true. And you've got removable Beskar armor.
Yes.
It comes with many accessories.
A lot.
And now you have one.
I do. He's sitting on my desk with my other figures.
So we, my dear, we're way over time.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we'll bring this one, our second viewer's choice. We got to catch up.
We are behind.
We're behind, so we got to watch Color Purple.
We do.
And I love Color Purple. Nothing could keep me from it. It's so good.
Purple was my brother's favorite color growing up.
I'm a big fan of purple because of Prince, as you know.
I know. Are we going to vote on this film?
Oh, yeah, we're going to vote on this film. That's right. We have to. I was just saying that Color Purple is our next movie. Yeah, so, okay. On our scale of 1 to 4 glasses of wine, what does that mean? Our bottoms-up scale.
Our bottoms-up scale is 1 to 4 glasses because there are 4 glasses of wine in a bottle.
Okay, I'll bite. On a scale of 1 to 4 glasses of wine, how many glasses of wine would you give this movie?
This is a great movie. I love the story. I think the acting is great. I love the whole thing. I'm going to give it 4 glasses.
I give this 4 glasses and twice on Sunday.
You didn't change the camera.
Oh, wait. I didn't change. You know what? I didn't. Oops. Well, we're still, Okay, now let's do it again. 4 glasses. All right. 4 glasses from us.
Yep.
So,
in our next film, The Color Purple.
The Color Purple, chosen by Big Bad Bats Maru. There's a reference. Right. Bats Maru.
Yep.
Big Bad Bats Maru.
When are we doing that?
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if I'll have time to watch it tomorrow. Because you're in school, right?
Tomorrow's Friday.
It's Friday. By the way, Rebecca Black, who sang the song
Yeah.
Friday, it was the 10th anniversary of that song.
10 years?
And she released a new... She's like she calls herself queer now, but she released a new crazy techno version of that song. I think yesterday or the day before.
Didn't she like...
So go Rebecca Black.
Didn't she just like make that song and put it on YouTube?
Yeah, but you know, it ruined her life. Now it's 10 years later, and she's now a singer-songwriter with music videos and all kinds of stuff. And she did a new version of that song. So good for Rebecca Black. Why that nugget of knowledge just came into my head now, I don't know.
Tomorrow's Friday.
Because that's right, tomorrow's Friday. Gonna go downstairs and eat my cereal and see my friends. Because it's Friday. Everyone should look it up. Look up the new version of Friday. So yeah, we do it. I don't think we have time because Color Purple's like 2.5 hours long.
Time to do it tomorrow.
Yeah. So
Right.
we'd have to watch the movie and...
Well, we could do it either Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, we should do it Saturday and do another movie on Sunday. Catch up.
Okay.
So we'll do that. We'll do Color Purple on Saturday.
Saturday night.
Saturday. And Sunday's Valentine's Day. We should probably do something.
Oh, we were supposed to pick one of the Valentines. Okay, so on our next show, the people in the chat will choose the Valentine's movie from the ones they nominated previously.
Okay, so...
I think there's 4 or 5 of them that they're going to choose from.
All right. So Sunday will be our Valentine's movie. Saturday will be Color Purple.
Saturday, Color Purple. They will vote for the Valentine's film, and then we'll do the Valentine's film on Sunday.
That will be exciting. That'll be exciting. All right, well, that brings us to an end of Elysabeth's Whining About the Movies, episode number 121. Gladiator. That's amazing. So, and we'll do Color Purple, and then you will pick the Valentine's movie. I hope they don't pick something like Irreversible.
No, honey, there's a list. From the list,
there
are several that are Valentine's appropriate. And from those, I think there's 4 or 5 of them, like we did last show.
Oh, it's on the Elysabeth's page.
We will throw it into the chat, and they will choose from those 4 or 5 films.
Okay. All right, then.
Do you want me to tell you what those are now?
No. We'll announce it on Saturday.
Okay.
We're going to watch.
There you go.
We'll keep it a secret. Or maybe we'll come up with it and I'll announce it tomorrow so people have time to watch it.
No, because they have to vote in the chat.
Oh, they have to vote in the chat. Okay, well, we'll do that on Saturday then. Why are you looking at me funny? I didn't know this. What, I missed the staff meeting?
They're asking what's on the list.
Okay.
Okay, Richard can share that information.
Richard will share, yes.
On the Facebook page. There you go.
Richard will do that. Anyway, on that note, we are going to end this. I want to thank our moderating staff. I want to thank Mike Bodden. I want to thank the Richard. I want to thank, Bunyan Snipe is here from the UK, which is great. I don't know if anyone else is here, but Joshua Levesque is here. Robert Priso is here, or not here, but I want to thank them anyway. And Greg Smith, and all of our great moderators. So thank you guys. If you want to write us letters, you can at the Burnettwork.net website. It's up in the top right corner. You can find things to send us whatever you want. Just mark down that you want it for Whining About Movies. If you want to send us suggestions, we love those. Send us anything you want. And if you want to go to the Whining About Movies Facebook page, there is one. You can go to the Post-Geek Singularity Facebook page, or the Let's Get Physical Media Facebook page, or the Fully Articulated Facebook page, which we did today.
Richard's saying it's already been voted on.
Well, what is it?
On the Facebook page.
What is it?
I don't know. Anyway.
Anyway, we'll find out. There you go. Thanks all the mods. Thanks all of you. I want to thank you for generously supporting the channel through super chats and tips and all that. And there's some we're stepping up our game lately. And there will be, by the way, tomorrow a members after party after the Robservation stream tomorrow afternoon, which is always fun. And then we're doing a members stream on. We're doing a spoiler. We're going to start a spoiler show for members on Saturday, which I believe will start at noon. It will happen before the regular Observation show, so that should be fun. We'll talk all about WandaVision. Yeah.
When are you doing that?
On Saturday.
Maybe I want to talk about
Well,
WandaVision.
you can come talk about WandaVision too. You can be on the spoiler show. You can. Why not? We can copy John Campy and Ann. We can do our own spoiler show. We'll do it before them on Saturday. Ha ha. Oh, they're going to do one tomorrow afternoon, I'm sure.
I have to work on Saturday.
Oh, man. Well, then why'd you have to bring that up?
I don't know.
Oh, well. Anyway, so on that note...
Everyone you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do is
listen. And with that...
Have a better night.
Have a better night. Thanks, everybody. Color Purple. Color Purple on Saturday. I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I love Color Purple. It is so good.
Good night.
Good night.